What's up, everybody? My name is Colby. Today I'm going to be doing an unboxing and first impressions of Retay's new ACE Type R shotgun. That is this black one here in front of us. A stands for Air Control Extreme. R is just the humpback version. They have a smooth version, which I just think is just a regular ACE. I could be wrong on that, but this is the Type R. This other camo gun in front of us is Retay's Masai Mara. Both are 12 gauges. I've had the Masai Maras for roughly 5 years, and several of them 12 and 20 gauges. I love them. They've been great guns for me. What drove me to get a new one is over the past couple of years, shooting friends' guns, I have realized I do better with a stepped up rib. And since I do better with that, I was wanting to try it out. I actually went into the gun store to buy a Super Black Eagle 3, but this was the second time I handled this ACE in front of me, and it's just so hard to beat. It felt just as comfortable pretty much as a Super Black Eagle 3. They're very similar, Retay and Benelli, but this one ended up being about $900 versus the Super Black Eagle 3 being $1,800. So you could literally buy two of these for the price of one of a Super Black Eagle 3. So I was very concerned on a couple of things about if this was just a new, tactic just to get new customers by Retay, which I don't really have any reason to think that. But you know how some companies are, and they're just releasing new stuff so they can say they have new stuff. But the ACE is essentially a built-up version of the Masai Mara, is what Retay's team told me when I reached out and emailed them. Some of the characteristics that are the same between the two is they have the two-piece receivers, super easy to put together and take apart, versus the Super Black Eagle 3 having 3 pieces. More moving parts to me is more places of failure, so I like that, it's enough to take it apart to get to everything easily, but it's not too much to where you're getting into extra parts, extra moving parts. It has the quick release trigger assembly as the Masai Mara does as well. Just a button you push here, and the whole assembly drops out, quickly goes back in. I love that feature. Makes cleaning the gun a breeze, and never had any issues at any of mine. Sometimes they can be a little hard to get back in there, but you just have to kind of break it in, I guess, and get to know what angle it goes in best at. It still has the drilled barrel for better patterning on your shot. A couple of differences is the ACE comes in on the top here. It's drilled and tapped for an optic from factory. The Masai Maras are not, unless you get a turkey edition. So another cool feature of the ACE is it can get an extended tube magazine versus the Masai Maras cannot, just because of the way that the plug and everything sits in it. The ACE also allows you to be able to swap the safety for a left-handed or right-handed. One bad thing on the ACE is from factory it'll hold one less shell. I assume it has something to do with this new design being able to take the magazine extension versus the Retay Masai Mara cannot, but whatever they did in there, the ACE holds one less shell. Another bad thing actually is the ACE does not come with a hard case. All the other Masai Maras that I've had, or Retays that I've had, they've all been Masai Maras, came with a hard case when you buy them. And I just like that. I don't use them a ton, but when I do go on road trips with them, it is nice to have. Probably one of the biggest things for me that we haven't went over so far yet is they actually share the same thread patterns as far as the chokes go. And that was pretty important for me because I have some pretty high dollar chokes, extended chokes, that I use for waterfowl hunting. I like to use Muller, so I have 2 of his. And then I have some Carlsons, but the Mullers are my favorite. And it's awesome that I can interchange them and I don't have to go out and buy a different $100 choke. So that was great. To go over this, first impressions is I love the foregrip. It's slightly deeper indentions on the foregrip here versus the Masai Mara. So it just makes it feel more controllable. You can wrap your fingers around it more. This, when it was designed, had waterfowlers in mind for sure. The trigger guard is oversized, so is the charging handle and the button here. I love that. I don't hunt with gloves a ton, and if I actually do hunt with gloves, I have my thumb and my index finger on my trigger hand cut off of the glove, just so I can feel everything better. So that's not a huge deal to me, but it is very nice if I am in one of those situations of where I haven't cut the fingers off of my gloves yet. I love the hump back here. It just shoulders so much better for me. And since it doesn't technically have a stepped up rib, it's the next best thing. It's essentially the same thing. It gets my head in a lower position. I like the cheek guard here. The Masai Maras didn't come with that. The butt pad, I'm not sold on it. I know eventually this is probably going to turn yellow and possibly even bust, but that'll probably be something pretty easy to change out if it ever does, to maybe like a limb saver or something like that. One small detail that I like on the Ace more than the Masai Mara is the end cap here is a lot easier to grab and take on and off. It's just with having big hands, these cone shaped on the Masai Mara can be sometimes tough to get a hold of, especially if it's wet. But yeah, overall, it's seems like a great gun. I'm fixing to go shoot some skeet with it now that I have all my chores done for the day. And we'll see how it goes. As far as what it comes with, it came with 2 extended choke tubes and then your standard 5 flush mount choke tubes. Oil, a lock for goes in here in the action, and then just your user guide and your warranty information. But yeah, we'll see how it shoots here in a few.